Hey guys! So today I'm going to talk to you about the set. And just a quick definition, it's when the boat is level, when you're rowing on the feather and the blades are off the water and the boat is sitting equal. So, when the set's off, it can completely screw up your whole entire boat. It can screw up anything from getting the blades on the water to the finishes, and that can end up making you lose a ton of water. So I'm just going to talk to you about a few things today on different ways how to fix this, that, how to call it. So first of all, one thing so say you're down to port side. So your ports are down, you're leaning down that way. You want ports to raise their hands, starboard to lower their hands, they'll level it out, and we'll go from there. That's usually good, and vice versa if you're down to starboard. If you're down to starboard, starboard's raised, ports lower. But that sometimes doesn't always work. They can't seem to, if they try, sometimes you overcompensate. So one thing I like to say is make sure you're pulling in straight into the finish, getting a nice good 1-inch tap down, and then as soon as you put your hands away, aim for a spot on the back of the person in front of them. So that way they constantly are going for that. So that way when they feel the set, they quick remember that one spot. Another thing, sometimes when their body weights isn't going to be even, so you got to make sure they're sitting straight up and down and that they're putting equal pressure on both sides of their butt. Because sometimes when people say they're pulling into the finish, they lean, and that'll completely just throw off the set. Because he'll compensate, and then the person next to him will compensate, and it'll just keep going on, throwing off the entire boat. So make sure, rowers, 1, level handle heights, 2, aiming at the back of the person in front of them, and 3, centered body weight. Another thing, when all of those don't work and you're looking for fine-tuned things, I was trying this with my boat this morning. I was trying to convince them that it worked. Finally, it worked. Applying pressure on your feet. If you notice that as a coxswain, try just one time. Like I try it in an 8. If I push a little bit more with my left foot, we will go over to port side. If I push a little bit more with my right foot, we'll go to starboard. And so that's what you got to do with your rowers. So say if you're just taking a stroke, you're coming right out of the finish, and you're just holding it, and you're just letting it glide with the blades off the water, really try to make sure that they're putting even pressure on their feet. And if they're down to one side and the handle height still isn't working, try the feet. It'll really, really help. One more quick thing about the set is when you say to your rowers, sit up. Now, what they think is when they sit up is that they bring their whole hands up and they end up bringing, can't see because my hair, they bring their shoulders up. And that's exactly what we don't want to happen. You want to make sure instead that they are sitting up from the abs, because that'll raise their hands. Like if you watch where my hands are right now, you sit up, they go up a few inches. So that really helps, because what happens is when the rowers go up like this, first of all, it makes them tense, and that's just going to suck for them to row, and it's going to get their neck all tight. But another thing is, if you watch your rowers on the ergs or anything like this, is if they tense up their shoulders, they lose all of their pressure that they could be pulling from in their lats, and that's just a ton of power gone. So what I like to say is if I tell them to sit up, raise their hands up, you're going to sit up from your core. Keep those shoulders relaxed and sit up from the core. So that's about the set. Raise the hands up, keep the aim for the back of the person in front of you, centered body weight, pressure on the feet, and sitting up from the abs. So I hope that's helpful. Bye, guys.